Welcome back, everybody, to episode 32 of Couples Coverage. I am your host, Nicholas Moriano, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful and amazing fiance. What's up, baby?
My fiance.
I know.
Are you getting used to saying it?
I've been, sometimes I catch myself still like saying, girlfriend, but then I'm like, oh, wait, fiance. Sorry. Recently, got engaged. And that's what this whole entire episode is about. For people who maybe don't know, who only just tune in to the Couples Coverage podcast, Stephanie and I are engaged now. As of
last Saturday. So
June 15th.
Yep, a little bit over a week. But yeah, you're right, because you've told me that you've talked to people that don't know us. So when you referred to me, you've had the chance to actually say like my fiance, but I haven't gotten that chance yet because most people that I talk to like know you. So I just say Nick, I don't, unless you're talking to someone that doesn't really know you, then I feel like then I'll be able to say like, yeah, me and my fiance, and I haven't gotten the chance to yet. So
that's true. Yeah. So if you're like at work, I mean, I guess you could technically say it, but it just, I don't know. It's not that it's weird, but it's like, Nick or whatever.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because people know you, so.
Exactly.
Anyways, so yes, welcome back to this episode. I'm so nervous, actually.
What are you nervous about?
I don't know. That's why I suggested having a little drink on this episode, because one, it's been a little bit. We cheers last time and we didn't drink, so now we have to drink.
Yeah, so we have to, cheers, celebrate the moment, celebrate being engaged.
But yeah, so I just feel like it's been a little bit, and obviously this is a big episode, so I made sure I have the outline. I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah.
And so far, like, only our close friends know in our family. Well, like, really the story of what happened and stuff. Like, not too many people, like, know all the details yet, so I feel like it's going to be fun. Even for us to, like, think back and
go through
like, relive the day.
Yeah, no, it should be fun, and of course we'll detail all of it, how it all went down. But first, I need everybody to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Couples Coverage, and also if you're someone who listens to the audio version of this podcast, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, really anywhere you listen to your podcast. So make sure you subscribe on there as well. Also give us a follow on our social media, Instagram, TikTok. That also helps out. And just tell a friend about us here at Couples Coverage, and that goes a long way into growing the podcast. But let's get right into it, babe.
Yes, please subscribe. Also, we're really close to 100, so
maybe
right
I think this is the episode that does it, because it's a monumental episode. It's something, it's big in our lives for us, and I think, but no, people, just like how you listen to podcasts, you kind of get invested into the people that you watch and what they're doing with their lives. So
that's true.
This is it. Let's go.
True. Okay, so I feel like we should kind of start a little bit with just our background. So I know we mentioned it on here, but if it's like your first time listening or you don't really remember, we've been dating for almost 5 years now.
Probably talking for 5 years, but dating, I guess it'll be officially 5 in
next month.
Yeah, July 20th.
July 20th?
July 20th. And apparently that will no longer be, that won't count as like an anniversary day anymore.
I know, it's weird. So like we'll only count our wedding date, but then it's like I also would want to celebrate the day we got engaged, and also like when we started first dating. I just feel like all these dates are gonna like be special, but maybe our big one will obviously be our wedding date. Yeah,
so I mean it is funny that this one, July 20th, when I first asked you out, well, I think we'll still always remember that, but
we'll always remember that, and we've never shared that. We haven't said that story on the podcast. Of
really?
Like how you asked me to be your girlfriend.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going through the 5 years.
No, that one could be another episode. I like to keep something like...
Okay.
It's just really cute, but...
It was pretty cute, not gonna lie.
It's pretty cute, but maybe we'll share that one in a different episode. But yeah, we've been dating for 5 years, and I just feel like the first 3 or so years just went by really, really quickly to me.
And one was a COVID year.
Oh, when was a COVID year? So I feel like that year doesn't even exist. Like that year, even though like you would think it would go by slow because nothing was happening, I just feel like that year went by so quickly.
I think everyone wanted to almost like get it out of the way. Like let's get through this time and get to our normal lives. So I wonder if that's like the mentality that we had, but like, yeah, it was just a different time, obviously.
Yeah, just a different time. But that's why I feel like sometimes looking back at it now, I was never like in a rush. We didn't really talk too much about like long term because I just felt like we were enjoying it. And for those of you guys who don't know, like this is my first like serious relationship, which is so crazy to me now that I think about it. Like
one serious relationship and you get locked down.
I get locked down for life.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So, I don't know. I just feel like I wasn't in super of a rush, but I would say like maybe around year 4 is when maybe we started to get more like questions and maybe we even started to think a little bit more about like what we want to do or where we see ourselves, because we obviously took the big step to move in together, right?
Yeah.
And I remember telling you, because that was kind of like a big no for me back then. Like, I'm not moving in with anyone unless I'm engaged or unless I'm married. And then I kind of like broke my own rule with you. But I remember having that conversation with you. It's like, I don't want to move in with you unless this is a serious thing and unless we kind of like want the same things. And I kind of just left it at that. Like, I don't want this to like postpone anything else, because I know sometimes in some cases, like people just live together and then I feel like a guy doesn't have as much of like the urge or like the urgency to take the next step, because living together already is a really big step.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, I thought it was almost a necessary step in our relationship to kind of see how we would work together in this setting, because obviously we only live 15 minutes apart from our parents' houses.
Yeah.
But like moving in was a huge step for us, just to take our relationship to that next level, to see how we can, work at this and in this shared space. And even though you broke your own rule, I think it was a good one to break, because I think it helped us grow, in that 4th year that we were together.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, for sure. I feel like it helped us, but still, like, I didn't want it to like postpone anything else, But I think because it was also new for both of us, again, it made time go by really quickly. So I feel like I was never in a headspace where I'm like, okay, when is this going to happen? When are you going to like pop the question? I always felt like I was very careful, because I never wanted to pressure you, but I did want you to know where I was at.
No, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. And it's not like I never wanted to like think or never wanted to have those conversations. It just, for whatever reason, up to that point in our relationship, we hadn't really gone deep into those like bigger picture, almost life after like the puppy dog kind of, love phase, right? Like, we just hadn't had those conversations. But it's not like we didn't want to, it just never came. I don't know if it just not the timing, or
if it did, it was always very like lighthearted. Like, we never like had like serious.
Let's
but
sit
again,
down.
like, I don't know. And I think part of me didn't, or like held back from having those conversations, because again, I never wanted it to come off as like pressuring you. I don't know. I've never wanted to feel that way. I wanted it to come from you. And we kind of did, like, even though we never had those like super like serious, or like I never like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't feel like I pressured you, but even though I didn't, or like we didn't have those conversations, I kind of do feel like we kind of knew.
Yeah, I mean, just based off like our relationship, how it's going, we obviously we loved each other, and we love
we love each other.
Love each other. Just
we have fun together.
Exactly, and we both wanted to keep that going, and if to keep that going, you got to also take the next step in your relationship.
Yeah.
So it made sense that between us we wanted to keep this going, but we just hadn't really talked about it.
Okay, so then around like year 4 is when you brought up like you wanted to go look at rings.
Yep.
Okay, so obviously that kind of let me know, okay, we're in the same like headspace. We want the same things. This is a good step. Obviously, it doesn't make anything to me like super official because, you know, like you used to have to continue working on your relationship. It doesn't mean like, yes, it was a big step to go look at rings, but I'm like, okay, we're doing this. Obviously, it means we're going in a good direction, but I don't know. Obviously, I didn't know, or I didn't have any expectations from it. Like, I wasn't thinking, okay, this is going to happen in the next month or 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah. And we had gone twice to go look at rings, right?
Yeah.
2 times. So I think the first time it was just new. Obviously, it was new for both of us.
Yeah.
Like, kind of seeing, like, we didn't even think of, like, taking pictures of, like, the rings on your finger.
I was having too much fun. I didn't take like a single picture. And then, like, a couple weeks later, I was like, I didn't remember any of it.
Yeah. So we had to go back and make sure, like, oh, here is this style, and you know, here's what you like in your ideal ring, like the cut, clear, all that stuff. Like that second time, it was more so, okay, we're not gonna get sucked into like the whole trying on the ring thing. Now we're gonna go and see what you ideally like.
Yeah.
And so then I can, you know, keep that up here for whenever I was planning on proposing.
Yeah. So actually, it's funny that I say that now because even though, like I said, I don't feel like I had certain expectations after that, then a whole year passed by. Almost a whole year.
Yeah, and I would say, too, well, what's important with that whole year passing by is that a lot of our close friends, I think, maybe it was even before that, had gotten engaged.
Yeah.
Too. So I wonder, for you, not knowing what to expect, but seeing, you know, people that are really close to us, they're engaged. It's like, then you end up being kind of one of the last ones in the friend group to not have, you know, a ring on your finger at that point.
Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of like a hard thing to explain because we are so happy for like all of our friends. Like it literally does not take away how excited or how happy we are for any of our friends. Like we love to celebrate with everyone, and like I just think it's so cool that especially in our friend group, I think it's so fun that now we're all at this stage together.
Yeah.
And that we can like, I don't know, watch each other grow in our own relationships. But I do feel like at some point it did start to get like, I kind of wish we would have talked a little bit more about timelines after we looked at rings so that I don't start to get to the point where I feel this way.
And, you know, I wonder even if we did talk about timelines, and obviously not spoiling when I would propose because you wanted it to always be a surprise, but it is, I think it's so natural though. And I think a lot of people can relate to this, to, you know, maybe the women that do watch, like if you see something happening in another relationship and you wonder, well, what do I have to do to get in that you know, that same exact situation? Like I feel like that's so relatable in a way. And so I think even had we had talked about timelines, maybe it would have been more reassuring, but still I think it still would have hurt. Like you said, it's awesome to see that from our friend groups, and we're so happy for them. Yes, but at the same time, it can hurt.
We were always so excited every single time. But I do feel like at some point it did start to feel like, wow, I kind of wish I
wish that was me, right? Like, to be completely honest, right?
No, not necessarily.
No?
It was more so like I'm excited and I can't wait to get to that moment, but I do wish I had a little bit more of an idea so that I'm not seeing it and feeling like, am I doing something wrong? Like maybe it does start to feel a little bit that way. And then obviously like social media sometimes doesn't help because I ran into so many different like videos or TikToks and stuff that can like really get in your head, I think, when it comes to those types of things. So maybe I was struggling like internally a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, doesn't take away from how excited we were for our friends or anything. I just feel like I remember having this conversation with you. Oh, because we had actually like a really serious conversation like a couple of days before it happened.
Well, wait, you had to say on our 4th anniversary.
Oh, yeah. On our 4th anniversary, I remember telling you.
Move this a little bit
like,
for you.
Thank you. I remember telling you, I want to like really remember this one because this might be our last our last anniversary as boyfriend and girlfriend. And I don't know if this was because we had already looked at the rings or because we talked about going to look at rings.
I want to say we had looked already.
Or talked about it at least. But
yeah.
But that's why I said it. Not again to pressure you, but I think it was because we were starting to have those like conversations.
Yep.
So now fast forward here a year later, and our anniversary is coming up again in a month, like we said,
in July.
In July. So I brought it up to you one day, and I was like, "What are we gonna do for our anniversary? Like, this is a big one, because now it's year 5."
And this is a couple of days before I proposed to you. So just kind of setting the scene. We're sitting on the couch. What is it, like midday too? It's midday. We're sitting on the couch, and you asked like, what are we gonna do for our anniversary? And then it kind of gets deeper than that.
Well, then I kind of remembered that conversation that I had with you like the year before, and I was like, wow, I kind of feel dumb. And then I was gonna leave it at that because I was like, oh, how much do I like really want to share right now this moment?
And then of course I'm like, okay, you can't just say you feel dumb and not tell me why you're feeling dumb right now. And so I had to like pry it out of you, and then you share why.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, I feel dumb because last year, like around this time, I remember telling you like this might be our last anniversary as boyfriend and girlfriend and blah blah blah. And so now here we are, and I'm like, I feel dumb for even thinking that it would have happened this past year.
And this time, I mean, you're saying these things, right? And obviously you're very, you're serious, like, you're just letting out your emotions. But me, like, this is all planned out. It's literally 3 days, I think, afterwards is when I proposed. But I'm like, I'm like thinking in my head, how do I handle this? Because I can't reassure you that you're not gonna feel dumb, and I can't give you too much to say that like, oh, just wait for the weekend. Like I was like in an in-between there.
Yeah.
And so I don't even remember what I said. Like I didn't reassure you, but I also
didn't say much.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't make me feel better at all. Like looking back, obviously I think you played it in the best way you could have, because otherwise I would have been suspicious. But you didn't give me much. You kind of gave me this like blank stare, and like you basically just told me that you love me, and I think I don't know, like, well, yeah, you kind of comforted me, but not enough to give me sort of any like reassurance, or I don't know how to explain it.
But you also asked like, what did you ask? And I said no question about it.
Well, then here I go. Now it's kind of funny, and I don't even really know how much of it was just me being a dramatic girlfriend in the moment, because I was like, do you even want to be with me?
Yeah. Yes. Do you even want to be with me? And I didn't even have to think about, obviously I didn't have to think about that. And I told you that, like, I don't have to think about that at all. Of course I want to be with you. And I wonder if that gave you some reassurance, because it was such a quick reactionary response where like you knew obviously that I love you, and I was hoping like at least that could give you, I guess, some confidence and like reassurance, but also not give away what I'm, have planned for the weekend.
Yeah. No, I think if you would have said more, I definitely would have started to get a little bit suspicious, but I just think it's funny. And then I was telling my friend about this, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so annoying, because I was sitting there being like, think about it. Like, don't just tell me what you think I want to hear. Like, think about if you actually want to be with me. I was starting to get like in my head at this point. And again, keep in mind, I didn't know that I was going to start feeling this way at this point in our relationship. Because again, I never wanted to pressure you. But I do feel like I got to the point where like I'm ready to take the next step and I'm ready to know what our future looks like together. Same. And yeah,
Same.
And I didn't know that you were already thinking about that way before.
I know.
Because you just couldn't give it away.
No, I couldn't give it away, and I'm glad I didn't. What was it? The next day too, we're on the couch late at night, and I had told a couple of people, about this, and I hope I'm not like jumping off schedule what we have planned. But Nicole is Stephanie's best friend. We know each other forever now. She had been in the loop. I, let her know what the plan was and stuff. But we were sitting on that same couch, but later at night, and she was like sending me a DM, like, how you feeling about things? And sometimes what I do on my phone, like I'll open up, it was the Instagram. I was opening up Instagram and I just kind of turn it off. Mm-hmm. And we had just gone on like a nice picnic and we posted pictures, and you wanted to see how the pictures looked on my phone on Instagram.
Yeah. And so here I was posting, I posted it, and then I forget what happened, but we kind of just like, either we were watching or something, or we were both just scrolling on our own phones, and it was kind of like we were doing our own thing even though we were next to each other. Mm-hmm. And then at some point I like leaned over real quick. I was like, can I see what it looks like on your phone? And
I didn't know if I like left my Instagram open on like the DMs where it would show, your Nicole there, like asking. So I kind of panicked. I'm not going to lie. Excuse me. Where I just was like, what do I do? I was feeling sick this entire week. This maybe help, not really, but you wanted to see what it looked like. I didn't know if it was open or not, so I pretend to like sneeze, cough, whatever, holding my nose, super dramatic.
Can I
like,
do the reenactment?
You could do the reenactment, yeah.
I was like, so pretend you're me, like lean over, like you're gonna look at my phone. Mm. You're like, achoo!
Chew, having my,
like stands up super quickly, and I can tell his phone was like facing,
literally just like the most dramatic
thing you can think of. And then, but I caught that you were trying to like keep your phone away from me, but at the same time I believed you because you were like, oh my gosh, I need a tissue.
Oh my god, where's the tissue at? Yeah, straight up the most like, I don't even know what to say, but it wasn't the best job.
I was telling my friend how I caught that, and I knew you were hiding something from me, but me being like, I thought I caught you staring at my picture, and then you didn't want it.
The pictures that I took at the picnic.
That you took of me. I was like, why was he hiding that? I was like, why did he want me to see that? I caught him staring at me or something.
Yeah, so like it was just a couple of days before. I'm like, come on, just don't ruin this. A couple of days before is what I was thinking. And
well, actually, then my head did kind of go to that where I was like, he's talking to someone, or like something was kind of suspicious. And again, my head, if he's hiding something from me, is never like, who is it? Who are you talking to? It never goes there. But so I did kind of think like, I wonder if it has to do with like a proposal. Uh-huh. But at the same time, I had even if I did think that, I was not thinking whatsoever.
It would be in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Which kind of goes to the next like question, like day of, did I know?
Yes.
Because looking at the pictures, I kept getting comments and questions about like whether I knew or not, because I ended up wearing white and all this other stuff. So we can get into it.
Yeah, well, we can get into it. But before we do, I think it's a good time to just take a quick break and tell everybody about our favorite protein brand, OWYN, which stands for Only What You Need. Look, they are a vegan-based protein company, zero net carbs, non-GMOs, 100% gluten-free. Have a bunch of great flavors and a bunch of different types of protein shakes. Right now in my hand, I have the Elite protein shakes. They have 32 grams of protein. And I really just love using these right after a workout. I put them in the fridge. They're all pre-made. Take them to the gym, and then I'll pull them out of my little cooler that I have, nice and chilled, and drinking a protein shake right after a workout. So they're super convenient, and they taste awesome. And if you're looking for just a pick-me-up during the day, they also have like the double shots, which also have protein, but also have a little bit of caffeine. So you can get really a bunch of different varieties. They also come in powders, and obviously bunch of delicious flavors. So you can check out your Owen products at liveowen.com. See what you want to put in your cart. And then if you use the promo code COUPLEGOALS, you actually save 15% off your first purchase. Stock up with all the different Owen products. Use that promo code COUPLEGOALS. And when you do that, not only do you save money, but a little bit comes back to us here at Couples Coverage. So definitely check out Owen, only what you need.
Thanks, Owen.
There you go.
I miss doing that.
The day of.
Okay, so day of.
And you already knew, I already told you that we were going
to dinner
at this place called Abba. So it's not that was a surprise or anything, and that's a place that we love going to. We had our first anniversary there. So that wasn't a surprise at all. But we knew we were going there, and then the day of, I'll kind of pass over to you how kind of that day went before we actually get there. Yeah,
so a couple of weeks before, I remember, actually, even like a month or so before, I remember you saying something about the second week of June.
Yep.
And just the fact that you were mentioning this specific weekend.
Well, okay, so I wanted to know that because I had just gone to a bachelor party that past week. So I wanted to kind of almost make it up to you. Like, hey, well, I was gone. Let's go out for a nice city day. That's why I kept referring to the second week of June. Like, I'm going to go out with the boys in New Orleans and party and stuff. But this weekend's about us.
Well, see, I didn't catch that at all because...
Well, okay. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, so I remember when you first mentioned this weekend, I think we were on the phone one day because you were confirming, this weekend we're doing something this Saturday or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I remember telling you I'm scared. And you're like, wow, there's nothing to be scared of. So I kind of was suspicious about it, but then once I knew what we were doing, I was not suspicious at all. That just all went out the window. I woke up that morning not thinking anything at all. Mm-hmm. And you the thing with Nick is when he's hiding something or trying to surprise me with something, he always gives too much detail. Mm-hmm. It's just something that I always have caught on to.
Okay.
And I think it's funny. I actually find it kind of cute that you just can't you just give too much information. You give it away. But so now looking back, it's funny. It's funny because that morning, you were actually going to go pick up the ring from your parents' house.
Yes, I picked it up that morning.
They were holding on to it because you didn't want it anywhere here with us.
Yeah, I was going to leave it somewhere in this office.
I don't look through your stuff, so I would have never found it.
Yeah, I think it would have been good. For a while, it was in my work backpack.
And I would have never looked in
there. Yeah, you would never look in there. And I could have, but for peace of mind, I just left it at my parents' house.
Yeah.
So I went earlier that day. I think I said I wanted to...
He told me he was going to work for an hour and then go pick up some stuff from the store. And now looking back, he could have just told me he was going to the store. But he's I'm going to the store to pick up eggs, aluminum foil, and paper towels, something the most. I'm okay, great.
All things we needed.
All things we needed. But it was just funny how much detail you were giving me because I was okay.
Okay. Going to the store.
And then when you got back, I think I had taken a class that morning. So I got back, ate and showered, and you came home and I still had a towel on my head. And I remember now looking at your face when you got home and you're you're not ready yet. And I still had a towel. I
was uh-oh. Well, also at that time, I didn't look up how long it was actually going to take to get there because...
With traffic and stuff?
With traffic. It ended up being a lot longer than it usually is. So then it was we kind of need to hurry up here.
We got to pick up the pace.
We have a reservation at, 1:45. Yeah. And we were scheduled to get there at like
1:37. I remember this specifically.
1:37.
1:37, and I still hadn't done my hair. If we left at that moment.
So it was and when I saw that, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go give the restaurant a call. And did you turn on your Dyson or something?
Yeah, well, I was like, we'll be fine. I'm like, I can do my hair in 10 minutes. And so I like turned my Dyson on, which is kind of loud. And so then I heard you step outside into the balcony, which normally you would never do to talk to someone. But again, I was not suspicious because I thought it was just because I had my Dyson on and it was loud.
Yeah, and so I give them a call. I'm like, hey, this is Nicholas Moriano. I have reservations at 1:45. I'm the guy that's, going to propose. My girlfriend and I, we're running a little late. Is there anything you could do to our reservation? And the lady was super nice, but she did say that there was a private event going on, so you do need to get here by 2, which gave us 15 minutes more than our original scheduled reservation time. But I'm like, okay, 15 minutes, that should do it. But, that kind of calmed me down a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't too worried because I'm like, all right, I'm going to drive fast.
Well,
I'm going to drive careful and fast. But
yeah, I couldn't have, I couldn't tell. Like, if I was you in that situation, I would have been so stressed. Like, I don't think I would have been able to hide my stress because, like, you have to be there at a certain time. And yes, I get, like, my hair is, like, the quickest thing. Like, if I had done my hair and not my makeup, we probably would have been late.
I was just like, what were you doing? Like, you got home and
no, but you said
you were still, a towel on your head. And I'm like, what is going on here?
Well, again, you said traffic was just, I was keeping the time in mind. I just didn't think it was going to take nearly 2 hours to get to the city.
That's true. But I was like, I got there. I'm like, no, this is not happening. You
hold
hurry.
on. So then it worked out perfectly, which is why I was wearing white in our pictures, was because we were running late and I hadn't chosen what I was going to wear. So I was like, okay, well, can you come over here and like help me like choose what to wear? And you're like, okay, what are the options? And I was running through some of the dresses that I had. I was like, okay, I could do this one or this one. And then I think I told you there's one I haven't worn yet. And you're like, which one's that? And you pulled it out. Mm-hmm. And it was this white dress that I was actually saving for the moment when I thought this could be happening.
Yeah, it was between a sage one and that white one. I'm like, ooh, we should go with the white one. Because I had learned over the course of the year, like, the girls should be wearing white.
But I've never, like, given you those details. I just feel like maybe...
No, I picked them up along the way.
Okay.
So I'm like, we're going to do the white one. I'm going to steam it.
I have and then on top of that, I took a video of you steaming the dress because I thought it was cute. I was like, yes, we were running late, but I just thought it was cute that you were, like, steaming this dress for me.
I, did a great job, just steaming, getting out all the wrinkles and stuff. And, that made... Look, I kind of chose a dress for you because that one's not wrinkled. So there it is. Yeah. And you got that.
And then in my head, I was thinking like, oh, okay, I'll just get another one when the time comes.
Little did she know. But then even when we were like about to head out the door, you also asked, which shoes do I wear?
Yeah, because I couldn't find the ones that I wanted to wear. And you were like, those are perfect. I was like, are you sure? And you're like, yeah, those are good.
The white shoes.
Yeah, also white shoes. That now looking back, like I wouldn't have changed it. Like I'm glad we went with all of that, but
yeah,
that's the reason why I was wearing white, and it wasn't because I knew, it was just because. Well, now looking back, everything just ended up working out perfectly. Like even those 15 minutes that we were running late ended up also helping us once we were there, and helped you like get me like ready. Yeah.
So we'll kind of fast forward. We drive there, get to the restaurant. The photographer, Jordan, you are the man, was already there. Kind of in the background. Like I don't know if you saw him. I didn't see him when we actually had gone to Abba, the restaurant, and then sat down at our table. I had no idea where he was at, but I was texting him.
Which, by the way, like, this is not like this is like a rooftop like patio.
Yeah, where the sun's coming. It's like a perfect day. It's beautiful, no clouds in the sky, sunny. The rooftop, like it's really scenic, I guess.
Yeah,
You have the
it's
buildings
really
in the
nice.
background, super nice. Yeah.
And then because there was a private event happening after, there was no one else seated by us. Like no one else was getting and like seated near us at all. Like
we kind of had the space to ourselves.
we did, which is like again worked out perfectly because it gave us that like privacy and now looking back, like it just worked out so perfectly.
Yeah, and so we get there, we're eating I think it's technically lunch at that time. Yeah, 1:45. At one point you went up to go to the bathroom to try to get some of the wrinkles out of the dress from sitting in the the long car ride, and I'm like, perfect. What I kind of thought in my head to not try to give it away, like, I'm going to start vlogging on this day. So I bring like my camera bag. I bring actually the camera that we're recording the Couples Coverage podcast on. So I'm like setting up to, just take video and like to, capture the moment, but also to just, we usually take pictures where we're at. So also in that little camera bag, that's where I put the ring. I didn't want to keep it in my pocket because you would see like something's in my pocket. With the pants I was wearing and how like the ring box was, so
But
I didn't want to keep it on my person before I was ready to ask the question.
No, I get you, but again, because I was so clueless, if I would have seen something in your pocket, my head would have not been like, that's a ring box.
That's true.
I was
yeah.
so clueless that day that I really wouldn't have put anything together. And
I put the ring box on the table, like, yeah, that's just a box.
Just happens to be a box there.
Where'd that come from?
Well, sorry. Anyways, you can go ahead.
So you come back. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and when I got back, I saw the camera there, like pointed, in this like really nice like area, and we were gonna take pictures and stuff, but it looked like it was recording. And I remember asking you at some point, I'm like, "Is this recording?"
Oh yeah. I set it up on the table, and I'm like, "Yeah, the camera is in." I got this new setting where it automatically takes pictures, and so that red light, it doesn't mean it's recording. It's just automatically taking pictures.
And I know it's not a thing, but I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
like,
okay, sure. I'm like a tech, guy, so like maybe you're thinking in your head like, oh yeah, you probably did find some setting and did it. But what I was doing too is like, I wanted you, to stand in front of. It was a nice like backdrop where it kind of had this nice greenery in the background. It looked really nice. So I was like taking pictures and just kind of getting lower and lower onto a knee. What I wanted you to do was keep looking out towards like the buildings to your right, but you just wouldn't quite stay looking in that direction.
I was like, okay, I don't need that many pictures of me.
I know.
Looking
I'm
off
like,
to the
no, you
side.
need more pictures. And then as you're kind of turning your head back, and I'm on one knee, left knee down, go into the pocket, pull out the ring. And I had some things that I wanted to say, and I was able to, I think for the most part, get them out. And
the rest is history.
The rest is history. she said yes. Let's
said yes.
And then, Jordan, the photographer, comes out, is taking the pictures, really capturing the moment. I'll make sure to definitely put, some of the beautiful pictures he took in here, because he did an amazing job. But I asked this question, and there are some people, they're a little ways away, but they would have never known that someone just got proposed to right then and there.
Literally had the whole space to ourselves, and it like couldn't have worked out like more perfectly. But this is why I always feel like things just end up working out, because if we hadn't been late, who knows, maybe there could have been someone there, and it would have been kind of a different experience.
Yeah,
but
initially.
At that point, we literally had the whole thing to ourselves, which again, like, just kind of like meaningful, because we did have our 1 year anniversary there. Mm-hmm. and if I just feel like because it's like a place that we've been to before, like I think that also helped that I was not suspicious at all, because that was the one thing I really did want was just like the surprise part of it, because I get really like awkward, or I I just get really awkward with surprises.
If you know they're coming.
If I know they're coming, it's really hard for me to fake an emotion. So I never wanted to fake being surprised or like any of that. So it just worked out. I was so like, no joke, I completely blacked out as soon as I saw you on a knee.
Yeah, I don't even think you heard what I said. But you did answer the question.
I did answer the question, but afterwards, it made me feel sad because I couldn't remember what you said. I was like, what did you say? Can you please, like, I had you, like, re-say it to me one day at the apartment just here the other day because I was like, please, like, I wish I could remember what you said because I 100% just fully blacked out.
And I do have a recorder, and that's something for us so that we can always go back and listen to if we want. But, yeah, no, I get it. I mean, look, I got you by surprise. I'm so glad that, you know, even some of the things earlier in the week didn't give it away.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out, and then afterwards, actually, we got one of the servers gave us, you know, some champagne to celebrate, and then we were there kind of just taking some more pictures on the rooftop, and it was just, it literally was like the most perfect day.
It was.
Like, it all worked out, like, even, like you said, running late a little bit, but getting the spot that we had, and they made sure to put us in a good spot. The pictures, even, you know, even how I asked, like, I wouldn't change it for anything, so it ended up, you know, working out.
So cute. And then we have like the after. So like the after, I was so shocked, and I had I had a million questions afterwards because I had no idea that he even had the ring. So all, like 100%, like all of it caught me completely by surprise. If anything, in my head, I was like, maybe he's gonna get it soon, or I don't know. When you start to like wondering these things, I didn't think that was already even in the picture. But yeah, the after. So after we had our like moment and like got our pictures and stuff, we just like enjoyed the day downtown, and we sat in like a little spot
and just talked about it. And you asked me a bunch of questions. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was so cute, and like one of the highlights was when you told me that you like talked to my parents.
Yeah, earlier that week, I think I went to go pick up Brady, right? I said I was going to go pick up Brady, our dog, who was at my parents' house. So I'm like, oh, I have to go back there, drive, but first stop, I'm going to stop by your parents' house. And your sisters knew, so they were waiting for me in the living room, and they were all excited and, you know, ready. And, you know, I had worked with my mom to, you know, have a message in Spanish to say to your parents. And so when I went to your house, we go to the backyard, your parents are just out there hanging out, and first your two sisters come around the corner, and it's, you know, they obviously say hi, and then
so but my sisters knew, so you had coordinated with them, you texted them, this is what's happening, I want to come talk to your parents, what's a good day to like come surprise them. And
we figured out a day and a time, and so they went around the corner, and then I pop around the corner, and I could tell like by your parents' reaction, they're like, oh, where's Stephanie? Oh, she's at home, here to pick up Brady. And then we kind of sit down, and I didn't want to take too long because I'm like, for you, like, whoa, it doesn't take that long to pick up Brady. So when we sit down, we're kind of waiting, or we're kind of talking a little bit, and small talk, and then I like, you know, tell them I have something to say, and I had this like I prior to me pulling up in your driveway, I had it basically memorized, but then it just went right out. You know, right out, like I couldn't even remember the first like word. And so I had my phone out there, and I was reading in Spanish, essentially, you know, saying that the last 5 years with you have been amazing, and you know, I love your daughter with all of my heart, and and you know, I'm on Saturday I'm gonna ask your daughter to marry me, and can I have your blessing? And you know, I think right when I said like I love your daughter with all my heart, your mom knew. Because she kind of got emotional, and then I'm getting emotional reading it, but I was able to ask your parents, and that was a really cool moment.
I just thought that was so sweet because like I knew you would do it, but the fact that like you went and like you like had this whole thing in Spanish prepared for them, I just thought it was so sweet. And that's another thing too. Like I think it was also like really special for my sisters to be in on it and like have that moment too of just knowing before you went and asked my parents and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know, I just thought it was so cute, the thought. Like I wish I could just have been like a fly on the wall when you went. Just seeing everyone, like you said, my dad was like emotional, my sisters were crying, and everyone got kind of like choked up. So I just thought it was so cute.
Yeah, it was a good moment, one I'll never forget. So we were talking about that there, and then we started calling some people.
Yeah, so it was fun to like do the whole like debriefing and like figure out all the like behind the scenes details and stuff. And then, like I said, we sat down and started calling everyone. And I think that's when it started to hit me. That's when I started coming out of like my blackout, because like FaceTiming my parents and everyone was ready and like everyone was just waiting for this call. I think that's when I started to get like fully emotional over it. And
yeah,
that's when it started to hit me.
Yeah, you called your parents, and we called Nicole right after that, and then
your mom,
my mom. And I know when she said welcome to the family, that, you know,
also got me again.
Yeah, it's like, this is real. Yeah, this is happening. Yeah, and after that, we just kind of still hung out downtown, went around like
they were like walked around the river walk. We had like a drink down there. We sat at another table, and like it was just so fun talking about everything. And I just felt like I kept asking you the same questions, because I was like, I just need to know like every detail. I'm just like in shock, and it was just so cool to like have that like moment to just talk about everything and let it all sink in together.
No, it was awesome. And even like, you know, the people that we asked to take the pictures, like they were so helpful, so excited for people that obviously had not known, but they saw that, you know, we had just gotten engaged, and they took so many great photos with both of our phones, and were like, do you need more? They were just like, you know, I think it just shows like, I mean, obviously this is a big moment for us, and even people that don't know us, or they want to help us.
Well, I thought it was
moment.
Yeah, because like we said, we had Jordan take our pictures, but because those are professional pictures, we didn't have anything in that moment. So when we walked around the river walk, we're like, why don't we ask someone if they can take our picture? And so we stopped these 3 girls, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll hold it up. And I like held it up. They're like, wait, did that just happen? And they were so excited. And it was 3 of them, and they were like hyping us up.
Yeah.
And someone else like stopped and like, have one of your friends hold your purse. Like,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Have someone take your purse, so that it's not like
it was like a collective effort to make sure like we got the photos that we wanted, and
that's also when it like hit me like, oh my gosh, yeah, like you said, it's a big moment. And I think I had told you before too, like it's so interesting to like have this big life moment, and like as you're walking through, people like, no one knows that my life just changed.
Our lives
just changed. Like no one knows, obviously, unless you tell people like in that moment, and everyone was excited for us. But it was really like, I felt like, wow, my whole like world's gonna be different now soon.
Yeah. And then you know, we got in a drink afterwards, and then we decided, hey, we gotta get back to Brady. But only a couple people, like a handful of people knew, like, again, this big moment had happened, and we had to wait a little bit to, you know, put it out to social media that, you know, we're engaged. And we actually got the photos. This podcast will publish on Wednesday, so we actually got the photos, you know, Wednesday night, and we're looking through them, and we're just like
so excited.
Wow.
It felt like the best Christmas morning, Christmas night, because we were waiting for them all day. So when we got them, we sat there, and like it was just so cool to like see them.
Got the laptop, and just for deciding which ones, and then we were like trying to, you know, like, do we post them right now because we got them, because we're excited.
So excited.
And then, you know, we decided, which I think was smart, to just wait. Let's get, you know, the pictures that we want. Let's save them as a draft and try to get the caption in. What's funny is that the ones that we were working on the night before, we didn't even use, because we woke up that next morning.
We had like a little, like, we were gonna do like a post together. So it's like, what? Anyway, so then we posted, and it was like, exciting to share with everyone who didn't know or who wasn't as like, I don't know, people that we don't talk to on a daily basis or like new, because obviously our friends knew and stuff. But yeah, so then it also kind of helped it feel like more real too, because for like those few days before we had the pictures, like only we knew, and then also it was just nice telling.
What?
I don't know, just the way you're looking at me.
I don't know if she's laughing at. It's a champagne.
Maybe it is a champagne.
It was good, actually. And you said you got this...
I think my professor gave it to me when I graduated.
Like 2 years ago. Tastes pretty good still.
It's aged champagne.
I don't know if
a thing.
that's how that works.
Is that a thing?
Aged, I don't know. 2022.
Yeah. So anyways, that's where we're at now. It's been
What's today?
like a little bit over a week now.
10 days, because I proposed on the 15th and we're recording on the 25th. So it's been a little over a week.
Yeah.
But it was really cool seeing like all the messages come in, whether it was like the comments on the post or just individual text messages. Like, and I know you got a bunch, I got a bunch. So, and yeah, there's a lot of people that, you know, you don't really hear from very often, but still it was really nice, to see those comments, to see those messages. So appreciate everyone who's reached out and thanked us
congratulated us.
Yeah, on this awesome moment.
I know, it's so exciting, and I feel like we haven't even like we're just soaking in this moment right now. Like we literally been engaged for like 2 seconds, so we're just soaking it in right now. But I am really excited to get to like the planning stages of it and to just start having those conversations, because I feel like it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, and it's gonna come up quick too, and like I've already had people reaching out like, let me officiate your wedding, let me film your wedding, all these things are like, whoa. First we need to talk about these things, see what we want, and you know when that time comes, we already know that there's people that are down to help us out, but it has been really cool just feeling just all the love and support from everybody, and
just like for us to be in this stage of our life. Like I'm so excited and I'm so happy. And
Did you even show the ring? Like, it's right there. It looks really good on your finger, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
I love it. I can't stop staring at the first night home. I couldn't sleep. Like I just kept opening my little box. I'm like, wait, did this really happen? Wait, did this happen? And I barely got any sleep the first night, just because I felt like I had to keep like making sure this is real.
It's definitely real, and you know I remember too, like. You know, with the ring, it's like I want to make sure, like, everything, it's just always there on that finger, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know, I get a little paranoid, but I know that thing's never out of your sight.
No, I'm so, like, aware of it. So, yeah, it's not going anywhere. But we do have to get it resized a little bit because it ended up being a little bit bigger. And I don't know if it's because when we first looked at rings, like, now it was, like, over a year ago, or maybe a year ago. So I don't know if that makes any difference or if my finger size has changed, but we will have to send it back, which makes me really sad to think about because I'm so attached to it that I don't want it to be like anywhere without me.
Hopefully it's not long. I don't know what that process is like. Hopefully it's not too long, but we'll get that ring fitting right, and you know it won't hopefully leave your finger for too long.
Yes. So that does it.
This is the what is this episode? I mean, we obviously we'll think about what we're gonna call it, but the proposal, the engagement, I think both can work, but that's how it happened. That's we're now engaged. This is real life.
I know.
You know, you always at some point every day it's like, you're gonna be my husband. Like you'll just say that randomly. I'm like, I am, and you're gonna be my wife. Like that's happening.
Even today, like I was like, okay, come tell me the story again.
Yeah. Almost like in awe of it, but this is real.
It's real.
It's real, and now for everyone who watches and listens to couples coverage, you kind of have a little bit of behind the scenes of You know how?
We got a little vulnerable on this episode.
Yeah. I think that's what it's all about. But now you get to
Yeah.
know a little bit about how it happened, and we're super excited, and again, really excited to, this is one step, but now there's a bunch of other steps that, bigger steps even.
And I'm sure we'll have like updates.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So
That's gonna be so fun.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But just want to thank everybody who has watched or listened to Couples Coverage and the 31 other episodes in the past. We really appreciate it, but we still need you to, subscribe to this podcast on YouTube. Give us a like, leave a comment. Then also, again, if you're one of the audio listeners, you like to, listen to your podcast, subscribe on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, and also Spotify, or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. That'll help us, big time there. And also, we are on social media, on Instagram and on TikTok. Just look up Couples Coverage. That's episode 32. The engagement, the proposal, whatever we want to call it. But it's been fun. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Adios.
Bye. Oops, sorry. Bye.